Have you ever opened your mouth to speak English and suddenly nothing came out? You knew the words a second ago, you practiced the sentence in your head, but the moment someone looks at you and waits for you to speak, your mind goes completely blank. Your heart beats faster, your chest feels tight, and inside your head you hear, "Why can't I speak? What's wrong with me?" Maybe this happens in class, maybe at work. Maybe when someone asks you a very simple question like, "How was your weekend?" You understand English, you've studied for years, you can read, you can listen, but when it is time to speak, you freeze. In this episode, I'm going to explain exactly why that happens in a very simple way, and by the end, I'm going to give you one sentence that helps unlock your voice when this happens. I'm Jake. Let's get into it. First, I want you to hear this clearly. Freezing when you speak English does not mean you are bad at English. It does not mean you are slow. It does not mean you will never be fluent. Freezing is not a language problem. Freezing is a brain problem. More specifically, it is a pressure problem. Let me explain. When you are listening to English, your brain is relaxed. You are not responsible for producing anything. You are just receiving information. When you are reading English, the same thing happens. You can go slowly. You can reread. There is no pressure. But the moment you have to speak, everything changes. Your brain suddenly thinks, "Now it's my turn. I must be careful." And in that moment, your brain starts doing too much at the same time. It tries to choose the right words, it checks grammar, it worries about pronunciation, it worries about how you sound, it worries about making mistakes. All of this happens in a few seconds. Your brain cannot handle that many tasks under pressure, so it does the only thing it knows how to do to protect you. It stops. That stop is what you experience as freezing. Here is an important idea that most English learners never hear. Speaking is not thinking. Speaking is a physical skill, like riding a bike or throwing a ball. When you overthink a physical skill, you block it. Imagine riding a bike while thinking about every movement. You think about your balance, you think about your feet, you think about the handlebar, you think about falling. What happens? You wobble. Or you stop. That is exactly what happens when you speak English. You are thinking instead of speaking. Now let's talk about where this pressure comes from. For most of you, it comes from school. School teaches you that English is about being correct, correct grammar, correct pronunciation, correct answers. Mistakes are marked in red. Mistakes mean failure. So your brain learned a dangerous rule. Speaking English is risky. Even years later, your brain still believes this. So when someone listens to you speak, your brain thinks you are being tested. Even if no one is judging you, even if the person is kind, even if they tell you not to worry, your brain still reacts as if you are in danger. And when the brain feels danger, it chooses silence. Silence feels safer than mistakes. That is why your mind goes blank. Let me tell you something very important. Fluency does not come from speaking perfectly. Fluency comes from speaking without fear. Native speakers are not fluent because they know more grammar. They are fluent because they are not afraid to sound wrong. They hesitate. They change sentences in the middle. They use simple words, and no one cares. Communication still works. Now I want to shift your mindset in a very simple way. The goal of speaking English is not to be correct. The goal is to be understood. That's it. If the other person understands your meaning, you succeeded. Grammar is secondary. Accent is secondary. Perfection is unnecessary. Your brain needs to hear this clearly. So now I want to give you the one sentence that unlocks your speaking. This is not magic, this is psychology. Here is the sentence. I don't need to be perfect, I just need to be understood. Let me say it again. I don't need to be perfect, I just need to be understood. This sentence works because it removes pressure. It tells your brain that you are not taking a test. It tells your brain that mistakes are allowed. It tells your brain that communication is enough. When pressure goes down, access goes up. Your words come back. Now let me show you how to use this in real life. Before you speak, say this sentence silently in your head. Before answering a question in class, say it. Before ordering food, say it. You can even say it while breathing slowly. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be understood. Then speak slowly. Do not rush. Do not search for the best sentence. Use simple words. Short sentences are powerful. If you forget a word, describe it. If you make a mistake, continue. Do not stop to fix everything. Communication is forward movement. Let me give you an example. Instead of thinking, I must explain this perfectly, say something simple. I think this is a good idea because it saves time. Is it perfect? No. Is it clear? Yes. That's success. Every time you speak this way, your brain learns something new. It learns that speaking English is safe. And when your brain feels safe, freezing disappears. Not instantly, but gradually. Confidence is trained, not discovered. Here is one final thought before we end. You do not freeze because you lack English. You freeze because you care too much about doing it right. And that's not a weakness. It's something you can change. So next time your mind goes blank, do not panic. Pause. Breathe. Remember the sentence. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to be understood. Then speak slowly. This is Jake. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.